Today's topic is going to be, what are Metroidvanias? What are they?
Let's start on the early days. 34 years ago in 1986, the first of its genre was released at first on the Famicom Disk System. Meet Metroid. The one game that featured Samus Aran, an intergalactic bounty hunter who seeks to handle by herself dangerous situations across the Milky Way galaxy and more. Albeit rather isolated for most of her journey, that detail alone is one of the key things in the series.
Many of these games constitute of certain tropes, high exploration set to continue your play sessions on a non-linear path. Start here or start there, you choose. With this exploration, you are granted hidden upgrades and items, and this takes me to another trope. Items. Items are everywhere, and half of them are optional and half of them are not. This being because Metroidvanias are built in a way where you can explore this part, but to continue further in there, you will have to go back and trace down items from previously explored places to then achieve the ability to cross that one obstacle that was blocking your adventure. Heart containers and save points from location to location might be a common thing you would find and need. Expect much backtrack in these games, but beware sequence breaks. They could also happen if you run into a place you were not supposed to go in with your current equipment. Speaking of items, bosses in here will most probably be designed as the best tests of strength for you, having in mind the upgrades you have obtained, of course. You will learn your equipment this way and so on. Now, about some other Metroidvanias, at least on the NES, there was Kid Icarus. Yes, that one Kid Icarus series that got in the hands of Masahiro Sakura years later, and we haven't seen a fourth game since 2011. Kid Icarus' first entry on the Nintendo Entertainment System was reminiscent to the game Metroid, as it was designed as a Metroidvania. It even had some enemies called Komatos that looked like Metroid, similar to those Metroids on Kirby's Dream Land 3's cameo.
Super Famicom ソフト、スーパーメトロイド。とてつもない地下要塞が待ち受けている。
Moreover, on the next generations, onto the SNES, Super Metroid, aka the third Metroid game, got released in 1994, and it was both a revolutionary game for the subgenre and revolutionary for the speedrunning community. More on the same to Konami's successful attempts to the subgenre, titled Castlevania. It was specifically their 30th entry to the series, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, that revolutionized the format in a slightly different way, and it formed the conjoined words of Metroid and Vania for the new video game subgenre, Metroidvanias. Let us go over what's popping out from these games today. After these key moments to the format's timeline, more and more have been developed. One of the big ones in the indie game market right now are the Shantae games, which started off as a great Game Boy Color game that looks spectacular for the system standards, though it released late at the very end of the portable's lifetime in 2002. This game was about a half-human, half-genie girl named Shantae that went out of her way to save her town people and herself because of an evil great pirate named Risky Boots that stole her goods and wanted to bring darkness across town. This made Shantae traverse many dungeons and meet new people. Unfortunately, this game didn't sold well and made the series have a more than 7-year hiatus. Another one is the SteamWorld series. Started with SteamWorld Dig in 2013 on the Nintendo 3DS eShop, which got a sequel in 2017, and both do remind me of this certain game, Spelunky, at least in the underground atmosphere. Cause you guessed it, the difficulty can't compare, so not completely. May I say that I may not be able to tell much about these following games cause I haven't finished them yet. Yet another indie game of this is Guacamelee, which did succeed in adhering Super Metroid's mechanics in its own way and even having brief references to that inspiration. The gameplay sure gives you a kinetic feel as you travel in the colorful world inspired by Mexico's Day of the Dead. Fortunately, its sequel is even better by what its reception tells. Before closing off with the last mention, it is to remember that there's also 3D Metroidvanias, which primarily started with yet again a revolutionary Metroid game, Metroid Prime, released on 2002 on the Nintendo GameCube, which took the series with an immense comeback into 3D after a 7-year hiatus. Castlevania has also gotten its fair share of 3D perspective games throughout the years. And to finalize, I am about to talk about the Ori games. Quick side note, I am still quite impressed that they were developed on the Unity engine. The first one took 4 years. Now, one of the big ones trending through the recent times is both of the Ori games, Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Upon having a challenging journey, they pack some of the best visuals in any of these games. Don't forget the platforming, because as like in most Metroidvanias, they sure are here to give you that adrenaline rush. So, these sure are interesting, right? Might be overwhelming because of the big maps? You might have noticed that most of these games are running on a 2D perspective, and yeah, it is true. But right now, it is my time to sign off. Hey there! This video probably sounded puzzling to you. Well, this is in fact my first video essay, which I've been working on for quite a few weeks. Hope I did enough for what the title is. And if you might have guessed it, English is not my first language. I will be done to do more though. It does get hard for me to get ideas and time for it. But either way, thanks for stopping by and farewell to you on the internet.